What's up, everybody? so, uh, before I dig into a lot of things I said I want to start doing here, eventually I want to do like a podcast type thing one day, blogs. I've always been into those things, but I haven't been able to really take off on it. Sometimes my mind just takes me into places, and I have to slow down sometimes and regrasp myself into reality and take it one day at a time. Um, with that being said, there's a lot of things that I would like to catch up on. This being one. Um, I wanted to go over gyms. Um, I wanted to really dig deep into gyms, realistic things about gyms, and unfortunately, it's not going to be a very um, popular subject for some. I have a lot of people here on Facebook that probably won't like this. They'll probably watch it and it'll get sent to somebody, but you'll never hear from them in the comments. I'm certain of that. I could put money on that, and you'll know why when I start talking about all this stuff. Um, there are a lot of people who stay quiet, and things keep happening in life, and you know, unfortunately, people who get into gyms and get involved in these things, they get taken advantage of because they didn't know. No one's telling them, the pros and the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, you know, down and dirty, all of this stuff, stuff that, shouldn't be happening and stuff that should be happening. But let's go over a few things real quick. There are different types of gyms. There are different types of things you can do in gyms. There's different type of people with different cultures. You have MMA gyms, you have boxing gyms, you have there ain't a lot of them, but you have Muay Thai, aka kickboxing gyms. Um, you have wrestling rooms, which is sort of gyms too. You have CrossFit gyms, you have weightlifting gyms. There's a lot of different things that uh, is provided for you to um, get yourself together pretty much in a physical state and mentally. Um, with that being said, I've been part of a lot of gyms. My age is, I guess, a secret to some, but to some, a lot of people don't remember or probably know. I have been going nonstop since I graduated high school. That has been almost 20 years now or more, I believe, actually. It's creeping by more and more and more. I've slowed down in the recent 2 to 3 years. I've slowed down a whole lot. A lot of things, have gotten in the way. It wasn't things I've done in gyms. It's things that has happened, such as injuries and life, adulting, parenting now. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different aspects, you know, uh, that has happened that many people don't know anything about. Um, with that being said, I have been going nonstop. Uh, I go through a lot of injuries still to this day. They have never went anywhere. Anytime you've seen me in a gym or anything, I've been hurt. I've been tired and I've been hurt. And I've had a lot of people who have been around for 5 years or under 5 years that comment on me. They judge me and they think they can say stuff about me. I don't quite understand that. But I guess in some ways I do understand it because I'm going to dig into these gyms. Kentucky is extra special. It's extra special. Um, I've been to Indiana, I've been to South Florida, I've been to Puerto Rico, I've been to Missouri, I've been to a few different places. None of them are like Kentucky. In Ohio, there is nowhere like Kentucky for some reason. It is a small fish state that wants to be out there in the big pond, but everybody thinks they're better than what they really are. With that being said, uh, there's a lot of people and GM owners who promote and manipulate. There's a lot of tactics they use. Uh, it is a very cult type feeling and a very cult type tactic. Uh, I don't use these words, gym fam, or gym family. I don't use those. I'm a keep it all the way real with you guys. My family's rough, really, really, really rough, and actually a lot of them have gotten older. So they've calmed down over the years because it was way worse when I was coming up. All I know is fighting. That's all I've ever been in is fighting and aggressive and anger and all the rough stuff that I could think of, plus abuse. I've been through all of that. But with that being said, if something bad were to happen, you can bet they all coming. They all gonna be there. That's family. There's not a lot of families like it, but that's mine. A gym family, not so much. I feel like, a lot of people get on YouTube and, they start these advertisements and they throw all the little hits in there. I could do this, I'll give you this, and all these fantastic quotes and ideas. And, to a lot of people that are inexperienced to the activity in these gyms, they think, oh man, that's a great person right there. That's a great guy. I should get involved with this. I should take them out. And they ignore the big high rate, the contract fee that you ain't never gonna get out of. All the gym stuff they're constantly pushing in your face and selling you. All of this stuff. It's more negative than it is positive. It doesn't bring any good value to you unless you are giving something back to them. When I started fighting and getting into gyms, around that time I was coming out of college, my second college, because I've been to 3 different colleges. I was a psych major. Most of you didn't know that probably. I was coming out of my last college wrestling team in St. Louis. I believe I was around 20 years old at the time. And, I also have a lot of people say, oh, you ain't old, wait till you get old. Like, that's a blah, blah, blah thing to me, honestly. When you fight and you actually legit train, your age does not feel the same. I mean, like, I'm not no longer in my 20s, that's obvious. But in my 30s, they feel like 50s. That's because I was always gun-ho and trying to dig in there and be the best and do the best. I mean, it's colored all over these walls. Maybe it's not to the best, of what other people think and value and see, but, it is what it is. Most times when you look at that, there's more than one person. This is just one person. It's just me. But I was young. I was always on the chase. I was always messing around in the gyms, but I was always there working. I never worried about going to work. I never really was focused on a career. I was always focused on the gyms. There was always a jiu-jitsu instructor overselling me gear, overselling me this and overselling me that. Me wearing their shirts, me wearing their gis, me going to all of these tournaments. I was non-stop in tournaments. If it wasn't in a wrestling tournament, I was in a Sambo tournament. Didn't know nothing about Sambo at the time. If it wasn't in a Sambo tournament, I was in a Jiu-Jitsu tournament. For a while there, it was just Jiu-Jitsu. Then if it wasn't Jiu-Jitsu, then eventually it was Judo. And even then, it was always what I could do for somebody else. But eventually, when it was time for me to ask for something back, that's when there was problems. A very, very popular gym starts with a C. Expensive but legit gym. Perfection gym. Did my Golden Gloves boxing out of there. Really, really good gym. I always liked that gym. At that gym was where I started Team Ironman training. It was going good, decent for a while. Not as good. That was that long ago where, the youngest in that class, I think he was in 3rd grade. He's in his 20s now. Still talk to him this day. I started that class, and originally I had put an ad out in the Courier Journal. I still have that ad to look at all the time. Maybe, I think I'm going to print it out and put it up in frame. I know it's a little cheesy, but it was something big for me. I put an ad out in the Courier Journal. I only got 3 hits out of it. It was 1 female and 2 males, and they were all different ages. None of them were close. And I only talked 1 into wrestling. And it was funny because his little brother used to always be in the car when they pulled up, and I used to always try to talk him into wrestling. And eventually, he did wrestle, but it wasn't through me. Unfortunately, the girl client was a former or client student at that gym. Well, I don't believe in soliciting other people's members for my own benefit, but I do advertise and invest in people. I will offer that to anybody. Unfortunately, this person's mother contacted me to hire me. And, that didn't go too well with that gym owner. And that gym owner fell out with me. Uh, he got very offended and very offensive about it. And there's a whole long, drawn out thing. The Brazilian instructor at the time was also going through something with me, too. And, I didn't really, I wasn't really into that thing where, instructors would cuss at me during practice and they would hit me and mock me and, say things like, I, you know, I know there's a time and place and I know, it's all fun and games, but, some people ain't really into that, and I wasn't into that. But no one ever cared or asked me to, or asked me how I felt about it. But I was spending that money though. I was spending that money and struggling at the time, trying to make ends meet while going to that gym. And that owner at the time, he put me on blast and he was making fun of me for struggling and not making my rent where I was living. These were deep things that never, hit the surface for everybody to see. And of course, they're not going to advertise how they actually treat somebody when they're at their worst moments. So, for starters, my very first gym out on Dixie Highway was a different gym at the time. Even though me and, the fight coach didn't get to spend all the time in the world and I felt like he could have done better with me, that was the man. Like, everything I, have today, I owe it to Jason Y. And I hope he hears this or gets this message. I mean, every bit of emotion creeps up in me just saying his name. That's where it all started. Like, I did have an actual boxing coach, Kelly Mays at the time. I did have whoever those two guys were with the tattoos at that gym doing Muay Thai. I was even taking that class. I was always serious about investing in, the actual fight styles. But Jason Y, though, he always had something for me, where I could use. That gym's not like that no more. And, a lot of those people that are in there now, I don't know who they are, never heard of them. But for some reason, they all know me. I don't know how. The guy that runs that gym was a purple belt at the time. And I never had a bad day once with him. But for some reason, he's going around telling people bad stuff about me. I don't quite know why. Because I love that guy. And I had the full utmost respect for him. Never had a bad day with him then. Never have said a bad thing about him. Going forward, over the years, I have been through gyms and gyms and gyms. It's just really interesting how people, sell themselves to people. But then when the door's closed, it changes. And I'm not going to put nobody on blast name-wise, but I feel like these messages have to come out because a lot of people come to me and they ask me alarming questions. And some of these things that they're talking about, was over 10 years ago, and these people who are spreading the rumors, saying this and that, you're angry at somebody who doesn't even exist anymore. That's not even me. I didn't even look like this at that time. That's how long ago it was. I didn't even have no tattoos around these times. Half these guys didn't even know me when I even had a beard. My head was bald. Like, that's that long ago. So I don't quite understand why you have invested in talking about it so much. Don't get it. One guy that really broke my heart in Frankfurt. I had the respect. Respect goes a long way with me. I don't just give that respect out. But this guy, I admired. I looked at him in a different view that I never looked at with anybody else in any gym You know, when I met him and when I was going to him, you know, I was driving a lot to get to him. You know, so that guy. Um, when it was all, you know, said and done and the doors closed with our friendship, it was through a Facebook message. I was blocked immediately after that Facebook message. Um, didn't give me even a bit of courtesy to respond back. Said, I don't want to hear no excuses. You mean nothing to me. I've been talking to people about you. And this is after I had came to him in confidence, and it was supposed to be between me and him. He broke that, and he went behind my back, and he started investigating and asking people things. And he's not the only person that's done that. But yet, these same people carry themselves like champions, warriors. You know, it's funny in life, the uh, the established delusional thoughts that people think what character is. You know, people have pretty much made their own definition of what character is. Character isn't any of these things. Most time, you know, the what I was always taught, the best form of character is, you know, what you do when no one's watching. You know, so when somebody writes me those messages and then they block me and then they dismiss me, and I found out that he did things in his own life and he did things in the gym, etc., etc. And then when I was told about those things that he did and who he was and what he was doing, I didn't change my thought process about him at all. But for some reason, people changed their process thoughts about me so easily. Uh, I have worked on myself mentally by myself for a very long time. I don't need any applause. It's for me, not for nobody else. It's for me. I still have a lot of work to do. I did it without being taught. I don't know if anybody understands what that's like. Growing up the way I was growing up and doing it by yourself. No one was there to help me figure that out. I did it on my own. With that being said, the guy that everybody paints me as, the bad guy sometimes, you know, these people, uh, the guy that I try not to be, that I think about, should be the guy they should be worried about. Because he plots. He's sneaky. He's watched and he's waited. But I I've avoided those things. And I'm gonna stay avoiding those things. I believe in love still. I believe in giving back to people. I feel like every day I'm missing out, not sharing my pain, but in my love at the same time with other people. Everybody doesn't need it, and everybody doesn't want it, and everybody's not gonna, care. But there are a lot of people out there that need it, and they're looking for it. And there are people out there like me, believe it or not, who are famous, and you love them. You're in their Instagram comments. Fighters, actors, actresses, a lot of people that are just like me. You probably don't know it. I know it because I can hear how they talk and how they act when the camera comes off. You know, it is what it is. It's just the way life is. You know, nobody's perfect. We all have problems, and unfortunately, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You know, in the process, in the cycle of this life, everybody takes you in based on who you are and what you're doing. It's all it is to it. The character thing, a lot of people feel like they have great character. They feel like that they're selling themselves with great character. But they've done a lot of things to people, and that ain't good character. It's a POS, pretty much. And unfortunately, people are so easily manipulated because people don't really want to know the truth. The truth hurts and scares people. People sometimes are more comfortable in their comfort zone with boundaries. They only care about what makes them feel safe. And the truth will not make you feel safe. I could tell something, which I don't. But I know these people. I could find anybody right now on my Facebook and I can write them and tell them something extremely alarming about somebody they know. And they will not blink an eye. They will still go and they will still be around that person because they don't care. They're wanting what they want out of it. That's all it is to it. Um, I was really pondering over the other day about, could you be friends with someone who is friends with your enemy? That person I mentioned earlier. You know, I didn't make these enemies. They wanted me as one. So every day, although I don't think about them at all, they are what they are. But this person was friends with him, and he chose to listen to them and believe them. And what that started was a grapevine. And then eventually went to another place. The words did. And then that person ate the words up. And then, it just a big circle. Everybody is still in the adolescent stage when it comes to the rumor mill. They believe things and listen to things, and they don't want to hear any credible source. That's another thing, credibility. Credibility used to be based on different things than what it is now. Credibility is now based on, what you've done that is superstar, or what have you done in the community that, like a gym. You provide a gym, and, you have a lot of gym members, and you do this and you do that. That's not credibility to me. Credibility is the same as getting your stripes on the street, I feel like. If you are a credible source, that means that you have been put on the front line and you have proven your word is bond. Period. That's it. And credibility is just not there with a lot of these people. So with that being said, this message may have scared several few. You may still be in disbelief, but I promise you this isn't rehearsed. This isn't, me justifying, rationalizing anything. This isn't any of that. This is me introducing the fight game world to you. When I was in the UFC camps in South Florida, my best buddy went down there with me. For some reason, he was able to talk this big money guy, rest in peace to him now, the money guy, into bringing me down for an audition to be on their camp and the management team. And for some reason, I didn't feel like I was that good, but, I passed with flying colors. Of course, there was things that was wrote out there for me that was expected of me, and, living in the fighter's house and no money and having to work. You had to deal with a lot of politics still. Things didn't go the way they were supposed to go. Well, when that didn't go too well, I heard from another, source that my friend was secretly not welcoming me back to his gym because I didn't make it. And this guy is loved by the Louisville Jiu-Jitsu community. He smiles, friendly smile, great looking guy, great guy too as well when you meet him. But it's like, as quick as that face just changed, somebody that does something like that, it should make you wonder, what else is that person capable of doing? It's not a good person. And again, this person sabotages my name when I'm not around. A lot of the things I hear are pretty fabricated, and things I'm not going to even bother going up against because I feel like it's a waste of time and energy. I know what that person used to be like in his life and the things he's done. I've never told nobody that. I've defended this guy publicly on Facebook when another guy that I once fought had, social media attacked him. Everybody does that now, social media attack. He social media attacked him. And I didn't know what that guy was saying was true. But now I see what that feels like when other people do that to me. You know, I have a lot of friends on here, and a lot of them don't reach out. I don't quite know what they're watching for or what they're waiting for. I don't know. But there are a lot of things I'm going to be posting about in videos, and I'm going to do blogs. I'm going to do a lot of different things. I mean, hell, there was one point where I was wanting to write a book. And all of these things, I want to do are for good reasons. It's not because I mentally think I'm this incredibly bigger, better person than the image that people think, or bigger and better than anybody. It's because I have a lot of things I want to get out there that I know I feel right here. And this has been through a lot, hell and back, and it's still beating for some reason. It has a lot of things, and this has a lot of things to share. Um, and experience really matters. There's a lot of people out there that put themselves on a pedestal that aren't really that person at all. Um, Another big gym, you know, this guy would openly do things in the gym when he was just a student. It's like I don't forget who people are, and I never will, and who they really are. But I'll never put them on blast because that's just not the right thing to do. I'm not saying their names, and that's what I mean. But they'll openly do that to me, and then the person listening will still think this is a great person, and I just don't understand it. I never will. Maybe it's not meant for me to understand how people, you know, their principles are so messed up. You know, there are a lot of things that happens in the world that people will get on here and they will go crazy about. Well, you should do this to that person. I should do that to that person because they saw this happen or saw that happen. But when it happens right there in front of you one day, I want you to see what it does to you and how so much will be different. You might not do the same thing. It's just principles. People just have different principles. That's all it is to it. You know, a man does not wake up every day trying to put another man down if he has a hustle. If he's also, responsible for motivating people, building people, all of these things, you should never wake up to put another man down. It's a crab in the barrel. Think about that. You know, there's a lot of things out here, around you. You know, I know it may make you feel like it's normal, but it's not. Wake up one day, really take a step back. Uh, there's a more to come. I did pause my Muay Thai techniques. I wanted a Muay Thai technique today. I did pause that. This message may get to some, this message may not get to some, that's cool. And I would also, you know, like to conclude this with not all gyms are bad. Fort Lauderdale with John David Jackson, he had a great gym, great trainer. I've met a lot of great people, throughout this journey. A lot of great people. Master Mario Sperry, in Jiu Jitsu. There's a lot of great people out there that are really, 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 you know, doing what they say they are. Actions speak louder than words. Um, if I was the person that people have said I was, I feel like I should pop up on things that usually means you got your livelihood taken away. You know, I don't look like the person that people paint me as. I can live with that though. I'm fine. I'm gonna still continue to be me and do me and keep this family strong that I'm growing with and everything and above. And I just want to share with that person out there that needed to hear this today. You guys stay up. Be easy. Be blessed.